there was this incident
with him and what's his
involving
name?
Francis Jr., Ernie Francis Jr. and Tony Stewart. What happened was Helio Castroneves spun out Paul Tracy. Paul Tracy was leading. Back a few car lengths back, you had, I believe it was Francis or Ernie Francis Jr. come down on Tony Stewart. Now, there was an accident in front of him, and I want to get your guys' point of view on this too. The accident was in front of them, and it looked like the top lane was blocked, and it looked like Francis Jr. was taking evasive action going low to try to avoid what he perceived to be an accident. Now, Tony Stewart at the break got really upset with Ernie Francis Jr. by grabbing him and kind of teaching him something like, you don't come down on him. He even said some comments like, I got a whole bag of dirty tricks that I could pull on these people. Don't try me. This and that. Now, I think Tony kind of overreacted a little. He pulled an old school Tony Stewart there, in my opinion. I don't see what Francis did wrong in coming down on Tony Stewart, avoiding an accident, avoiding what he perceived to be danger in front of him. But I want to get your guys' opinion on it. If you did see it, I hope I explained it well enough to you. It looked to me just like a racing incident. He didn't mean to do that on purpose, but Tony Stewart took it really personally and let him know his displeasure. And of course, when he grabbed him and Tony Stewart was schooling him, Francis wasn't going to fight back. He's just like, yes, sir, I get it. Yep, you're right. But what do you guys think of that? I mean, to me, I think Tony Stewart went overboard a little. The punishment didn't fit the crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I didn't see it at first, and once they showed the replay after Tony grabbing Francis Jr., it just like a racing incident. He was trying not to hit Paul Tracy that spun out. I think Tony Stewart just, lost his cool. Nothing. Francis Jr. didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to get out of the way and not hit anybody head on, damage his car. Tony just happened to be there at wrong place, wrong time. It didn't mess his car up because he went on to win. I just think a short fuse moment for Tony Stewart led to that.
Now, if you were in Ernie Francis Jr.'s seat, I know what I would have done, but I'm curious to know what you guys would have done. Would you have just said, okay, yeah, you're right, 100%, whatever, just to diffuse the situation? Or would you said kind of, hey, man, here's the situation. This is what I saw. If you were there, my bad. I mean, you don't need to get your panties in a wad about it.
Here's the thing about that series is they don't run spotters. They don't run spotters every race, like any race. So it's more of a drive out your mirror situation than anything.
But if it spins in front of you, are you looking at your mirror? Or are you looking at what's in front of you?
No, you're looking in front of you all day. So, Tony definitely overreacted. I'm not going to argue that at all. But if you're Francis,
I think I would have stood up for myself and said, no,
yeah,
it happened.
I think you have to, and you have to explain the situation. Like, look, this ain't like normal series. We don't have somebody just telling us where to go, in a wreck situation. We're having to judge that for ourselves, and I'm not looking anywhere else. So,
right.
It's a tough call. I guess I could see it either way, but I definitely lean more towards Francis in this situation where he was just trying to avoid a bigger wreck in front of him than sideswiping somebody or whatever.
Right. And I feel like if you put your hands on me, regardless of what the situation is, like Tony Stewart did to Ernie there, that I would have bucked up a little more and said, get your hands off me before you get hurt, man.
I mean, he had him around the collar and was picking his whole fire suit up. That's
yeah, I mean, I'm wondering.
Yeah, Austin did that to me once, and he asked Austin how that turned out.
Right. Either Ernie Francis Jr. is the calmest type C personality out there, or he just, folded over to Tony Stewart. I don't think I would have taken that, especially in a series like SRX. I would have just said, you know what, Tony, screw you. Get your hands off me. And when you go out there, you got a whole bag of tricks. Well, guess what? Rookie's got some new ones here too, kid. Old man. I mean, I'm not going to take that. If you want to make a name for yourself, I mean, go for it. I would, if I was Ernie, I would have wrecked Tony Stewart. He wouldn't have won that race.
I agree with you but you can see the fear in his eyes. Like when the camera zoomed in on him, his eyes were real big, and he was shook.
Hey, he was shook up, but
probably got caught off guard. To be honest with you, so
that's what it looked like. But I agree. Don't come up and put your hands and.
I mean, regardless if you get caught off guard or not. I mean, if I get caught off guard, I don't care who it is. My adrenaline's going to pump up, and now I'm like, well, we're going to fight. I'll fight you.
I guarantee you, he wouldn't have grabbed Paul Tracy like that.
No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have grabbed Ryan Newman like that.
No.
But
no Nick Newman.
Right, but this scrawny little kid, probably 150 pounds, soaking wet, and Tony Stewart's not getting any skinnier. He's not getting any buffer. I mean, he's just getting bigger. I mean, that guy's just ballooning up. But I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't have taken that. I don't care who it is, Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman. I'm like, screw you, man. You has been. That's what I would have said to him and piss him off even more. I don't care if you are the co-founder of SRX Series. I'll whoop your butt. Whether either here on pit road in front of everybody or on the racetrack in front of everybody. But I'm a bigger talker than I am a action doer because I'm not a racer.
Hey guys, Austin with Ramblin about Racing. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click here. Join in every week to watch us do what we love, drink beer and talk about racing.